What's up, KFG Crew and KFG Kings? It's your boy, bigboyfactsjonnytv, and tonight I'll give you guys my AEW Dynamite review on highlights. So if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys connect with me by hitting that red bell and red button at the same time. Follow my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch, and Discord down below in the description when I premiere a brand new video on YouTube or I go live on YouTube. And let's get started. Now, AEW Dynamite, I enjoyed it. That's all I gotta say. I enjoyed AEW Dynamite because it was a good show, in my opinion. Alright, a special intro video blends AEW highlights with House of the Dragon Game of Thrones clip. Now this promo right here was good. Alright, CM Punk makes his way to the ring to a giant reaction. CM Punk raised the world title and says he has some business to attend to since he hasn't been here in a while. He says he has some not so important things to take care of and some very important things. CM Punk challenged Hangman Page to a rematch and challenged him to come to the ring right now. Hangman doesn't come out, and Punk says, "That's not cowboy, you know what? That's coward, you know what?" CM Punk says if anyone else has any problems with him, they can come on out right now and express those issues. CM Punk mentions John Moxley and says that Moxley may be number one in some fans' hearts, but he isn't number one in AEW, and says that he is the champion, not Moxley. CM Punk says that Moxley has always been number two, wherever he's been, and that's the same here. He is that Moxley is the third best guy in his own group, and that seems to be a recurring theme in his career. CM Punk says that Moxley talks about breaking bones a lot, but it's all talk, and says he's broken more bones than Moxley. CM Punk says the interim means temporary and he's willing to test himself against Moxley, but he's not even willing to test himself against his best friend. And then calls Kingston the second best Kingston he's ever been in a locker room with. CM Punk says he hasn't defend this title yet, but he intends to do just that at All Out against John Moxley. He says that Moxley isn't even the first John he's ever beaten in Chicago for a belt, and he certainly isn't number one in that category either. Moxley has had enough, and he makes his way through the crowd. CM Punk does no angle in the ring as Moxley makes his entrance, much to Moxley's annoyance. Moxley taunts CM Punk about dropping pipe bombs and says that he's wearing check that his body can't cash, which is what he does best. Moxley says CM Punk is the best wrestler in the world in his own mind, but he's not even the best wrestler in catering most days. He says CM Punk thinks that microphones give him power, but in the real world, every word he spits in that microphone doesn't mean you know what. He said he points at CM Punk's belt and says it doesn't mean you know what either. Moxley admits that his own belt doesn't mean you know what either until he beats CM Punk and then throws it down. Moxley says that he is the heart and soul of AEW, and every time they call him interim champion, it makes him think of CM Punk. It makes him sick. CM Punk says that he can be the heart and soul while he's the dollar and cents of AEW. Moxley says that everyone is aware that CM Punk came back because he ran out of money, so we get it. Moxley says that CM Punk ran out of fighting spirits a long time ago, and if he wants to prove him wrong, he can do something about it. CM Punk says he'll prove it at the pay-per-view, but he's afraid that if touches Moxley, now he'll just bleed all over him. Moxley shows CM Punk, and they start going after it until security hits the ring. This was a great promo by CM Punk and John Moxley. Alright, let's move on. Footage of Ricky Starks last week is shown. Tony Schiavone interviews Powerhouse House backstage and asks him why he turned on Starks. House says that Starks proved to everyone who he really was and says he showed the whole world he was okay with losing. House says he isn't okay with that and Starks just hid behind his back for 2 years in AEW. He says that he was hired for one thing, and that was to make sure Starks stayed champion. But Starks is a loser. He says that he doesn't just break backs, he breaks necks. He says he has something for the factory too. Ricky Steamboat is showing sitting ringside. Chris Jericho comes out and joins commentary for the next match. So we get a 2 out of 3 falls match. American Dragon Brian Danielson accompanied by William Regal versus the Dragon Slayer Daniel Garcia. Alright, now this was good. Danielson and Garcia start off with some mat wrestling and a number of submission exchange. Garcia points Danielson in a ankle bar, and then they start kicking each other in the face until Danielson counters into a heel hook. Garcia grabs the ropes to break the hold and then kicks Danielson in the face. Garcia slaps Danielson again as they lock up in the corner. So we go to commercial break. Danielson gets the crowd fired up as he levels Garcia with a number of kicks in the corner, cap off with a flying dropkick. Danielson lifts Garcia up to the top and goes for a Frankensteiner, but Garcia rolls through for a near fall. But Garcia and Danielson exchange uppercuts until Garcia throws the dragon into the corner. Danielson flips over Garcia but walks into a butterfly suplex that Garcia transitions right into a cross arm breaker. Danielson rolls over and reverses the hold into a bridging cradle suplex for a near fall. Danielson puts Garcia in a modified ring of Saturn while having Garcia's leg trapped at the same time. Garcia managed to get to the ropes and then rolls to the floor to catch a breather. Danielson hits a flying drop kick through the ropes and attempts a flying knee off the apron, but Garcia moves and hits a backdrop driver on the outside. Garcia rolls Dragon back in the ring and hits a series of elbows to Danielson's face. Garcia puts Danielson in a dragon tamer, but Danielson rolls back over and kicks Garcia in the face and pulls him down into a triangle choke. Garcia deadlifts Danielson up into a cradle pile driver. Garcia puts Danielson in a dragon sleeper, and Danielson passes out. It says Dan Garcia scores 1 point and Brian Danielson has 0. The referee starts a 10 count and Danielson managed to get up at 9, only for Garcia to jump on him and beat him down in the corner. Garcia lights Danielson up with chops and a flying drop kick in the corner. So we go to commercial break. Danielson tries to fight back, but Garcia slams Danielson with an arm breaker. And hits a suplex and transitions it into a dragon sleeper again. Danielson reversed it into a pinfall. Saying, okay, Daniel Garcia has one and Brian Danielson has one, so it's tied up. Alright, Garcia charge at Danielson in the corner, but Danielson moves and Garcia gets hung up in the ropes. Danielson kicks him repeatedly and then lifts him to the top and hits a spider superplex. Danielson hits a missile drop kick off the top and hits a toe suicide to the outside as Garcia rolls out to try and get away. Danielson slams Garcia into the ring post repeatedly, slamming his shoulder into the post. Finally, Daniel Garcia is able to pull Daniel Garcia, Brian Danielson into the post to get away. Daniel Garcia rolls back into the ring to break the 10 count, and Brian Danielson barely managed to get back in as well. So we go to commercial break. Daniel Garcia puts Brian Danielson in the Dragon Tamer again, but Brian Danielson counters into the Libel lock. Daniel Garcia tries to roll out, but Brian Danielson rolls through and locks in the crossface. Daniel Garcia rolls Brian Danielson over into a near fall. They get back up and slap the piss out of each other. Utter and Garcia hits a flying drop kick, but Brian Danielson shrugs it off and attempt a Warren elbow. Daniel Garcia does and hits Brian Danielson deals his own flying knee. 1-2 no. Brian Danielson kicks out. Daniel Garcia and Brian Danielson exchange elbows with Brian Danielson getting the better of it. The secrets. Brian Danielson runs down elbow with Daniel Garcia laying on the ground and then he trips the arm and kicks Daniel Garcia in the face repeatedly until Daniel Garcia reverses it and rolls Brian Danielson up before kicking him in the face. um Brian Danielson flips Garcia over and headbutts him repeatedly and starts stomping on Daniel Garcia's face. Brian Danielson puts Daniel Garcia in a triangle choke and elbows Daniel Garcia at the same time. Daniel Garcia tries to counter into the pile driver again, but Brian Danielson transitions into the Libel lock. Daniel Garcia tries to fight out of the hole, but Brian Danielson starts elbowing him again and locks it in again until Daniel Garcia passes out. So the winner, Brian Danielson 2 and Daniel Garcia 2-1. Alright. Brian Danielson applauds Daniel Garcia after the match and offers a handshake. Daniel Garcia looks like he's going to accept, but Jericho attacks Brian Danielson from behind. Daniel Garcia shoves Jericho away and Jericho gets in his face. Daniel Garcia slaps Jericho's hand away as Jericho is pointing at him, and Jericho warns him before leaving. All right, back in the ring. That was a good match between Daniel Garcia and Brian Danielson. That was a good match. In the back, Private Party and Swerve Strickland and Our Glory cut a promo about their upcoming match. Swerve says this is the closest Private Party will ever get to the titles and tells them to pay attention because they can learn a thing or two from them. Lee says that after Friday, they can get back to the back of the line. Commercial break. Toni Nese comes out for a match, but Jon Moxley blindsides him and gets back in the ring. Moxley says he's sick of waiting for CM Punk. He wants him to come out right now and let's get this over with now. CM Punk comes out, but security and producers are right behind him, trying to keep them away from each other. Claudio Cascanoid and Wheeler Yuta run out to help, try to hold Moxley back. Alright. Now, the feud between Jon Moxley and CM Punk is awesome. Take my money for it. Alright, anyway, let me continue. In the back, Tony Schiavone interviews Jericho in Appreciation Society. He says he's going to give Daniel Garcia a pass for what happened because he just had a physical match. Jericho says he wants to talk to Daniel Garcia face to face in the ring. and he wants to make sure whose side Daniel Garcia is on. Ricky Steamboat walks up and says that Daniel Garcia is coming into his own and he doesn't need Jericho or his group. He says if anyone should mentor Daniel Garcia, Brian Danielson is the better choice. Jericho says he hasn't liked Ricky Steamboat for 15 years and tells him to stay out of his business. Parker gets in Steamboat's space and tells him to stay out of Jericho's business, but Steamboat decks him. Alright, the Varsity Blondes versus the Gun Club, accompanied by Billy Gunn. Colton Gunn hits the Colt 45 on Garrison almost immediately for the pin. The winner of the match, the Gun Club. Billy Gunn says that is what he's been trying to tell them for weeks to do, just getting things done, but stop fighting. What is it? Fighting around. Gunn says that he is proud of them and he is proud to be able to work next to his sons. They hug it out as Stokely Hathaway comes out and smiles. Gun Club then attacks their dad. The Acclaim runs out and Gun Club retreats. The Acclaim makes up with Billy Gunn and they hug. So Billy Gunn just turn on their sons. Okay, let's move on. Sanjay Dutt and Jay Lethal ran about FTR and Warlow coming together last week. Sternum signed there's Warlow to powerbomb him. So we go to commercial break. The Death Triangle taunts United Empire backstage. Pac says that he and Will Ospreay have some unfinished business, so he's looking forward to next week. He says that Death Triangle is an unstoppable unit built for this tournament. Jungle Boy comes out and says he been trying to hit Christian for weeks with his fist and even a chair, but Christian hasn't done anything. Jungle Boy says that he will continue to chase Christian until he get his hands on him or he can be a man face him at all out. He starts to call Christian a you know what, but Christian comes out and refuses to face Jungle Boy. Christian says this thing between them has gotten out of hand, but he really is proud of Jungle Boy. He says that a year ago he couldn't even from a sentence and says that he's been reflecting on their issues. He climbed in the ring with Jungle Boy and says he thinks maybe they both said some things that neither of them meant, even through Jungle Boy got a little personal. He says he wants to fix these problems between them, not fight. He says that he wants to go on another round with him and says he'll take him to the promised land this time. Christian Christian says they are family and says Jungle Boy is like a son to him and tells him to come home and offer a hug but Jungle Boy tackles him and starts beating him down. Christian low blows him and throws him into the barricade. Jungle Boy comes back and throws Christian into the ring steps. He trusts Christian's arm on the steps and starts stomping on it until security runs out and pulls him off. So we go to commercial break. I'm sorry. Backstage, FTR and Warlow challenged Lethal's crew to a trios match. Warlow says that it doesn't matter how big someone is, everyone can get the powerbomb. All right, so we get Toni Storm versus KiLynn King. All right, I must say this was a solid match. This was solid. Thunder Rosa is shown watching backstage in a weird WWE angle. King takes King takes Storm down, rolls her up for a quick near fall, but Storm comes right back with one of her own. King takes Storm down again and then hits a drop toho, followed by a sliding dropkick attempt, only for Storm to move and hit one of her own. King goes to the top and hits a diving pump kick to Storm's kicking, knocking her to the floor. King attempts a flying dropkick through the ropes, but Storm moves and goes for a tornado DDT on the floor. King blocks it and then slams Storm into the apron and the barricade. So we go to commercial break. King and Storm exchange elbows until Storm hits a bridging fisherman suplex. King comes back with a pump kick and then hits a spine buster for 2. King goes for a pump handle slam, but Storm escapes and hits a German suplex. Storm hits Sweet Cheeks music followed by a tornado DDT and a spike DDT for the pin. The winner of the match, Toni Storm. That was a solid match. Alright, Best Friends cut a promo on Trustbusters. Commercial break. It's announced that Moxley will face CM Punk for the undisputed title next week. Rosa will defend the women's title against Storm at All Out. Okay, the Young Bucks partner is Kenny Omega, who gets a gigantic ovation upon his return. Don Callis comes out with Omega and joins commentary. As you guys can see the thumbnail, that Kenny Omega is back. You guys see the thumbnail clear as day, full proof. It says AEW Trios Title Tournament quarterfinals. La Falcon and Goebbels, Dragon Lee, Rush, and Andrade versus the Elite, Kenny Omega, Mike Jackson, and Nick Jackson. All right, I'm gonna say this match was okay. Was pretty good. It was okay for what it was, but pretty good at the same time. Kenny Omega is wearing a huge brace on his shoulder. Dragon Lee and Nick Jackson want to give me a lucha boner right off the bat as they start things off. They speed things up immediately and flying over the place. Andrade tries to help his partner, but Nick lifts Matt into a flying Rana on Andrade. Kenny Omega tags into the match for the first time and hits a springboard axe handle drop on Lee. Kenny Omega rains down punches on Lee in the corner and hits a Green Bay plunge, but wasn't able to land on his feet and looks frustrated as he tags Nick back in. The Young Bucks and Kenny Omega hit some triple team offense on Lee and work over in their corner. Kenny Omega tags in again, but Lee fights him off and tags Andrade. Andrade shoves Kenny Omega and Excalibur talk about their many matches in Japan. Rush chop blocks Kenny Omega's knee and lost and Goldbernos and Goldbernos beat him down in the corner. Commercial break. Nick Jackson gets a hot tag and hits a beautiful flying arm drag / hurricanrana combo on LFL. Okay, Lee tags in and dives into the low locomotive Northern Lights from Matt Jackson. The Elite hits triple superplex on LFL and the roll to the floor. Nick hits a beautiful springboard tornado onto LFL and tosses Lee back in the ring. Lee kicks a charging Kenny Omega, but then eats a world backbreaker followed by a flying elbow from Nick for a near fall. Andrade throws Nick Jackson to the floor, and LFLB on Matt and Kenny Omega. Rush belly to belly suplex Nick into the corner, and Lee and Andrade hit a flying knee on Matt and Kenny Omega in other corners. Lee gets a near fall on Matt and then tags Andrade. They triple team Matt in the corner with clotheslines and splashes. They hit a triple basement drop kick and do the tranquilo pose. Alright, so we go to commercial break. Rush fakes like he was going to hit a hesitation drop kick, but stops and kicks Matt in the face. He does the tranquilo pose, but eats a super kick from Nick. Lee tags in, but eats a super kick from Matt. Matt kicks Lee into Andrade and makes a high tag to Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega for a roaring axe handle, but Andrade moves only to eat an insecurity. Kenny Omega hits the Snapdragon and then nails Rush with one for Lee. Kenny Omega tags Matt and the Elite hits a flying elbow on LFL in the corner. Super kick party for Andrade and Rush, but Lee comes back with a Rana attempt only to get powerbomb into a series of kicks from the Elite. Matt Jackson hits a cannonball on Lee in the corner. They hit a super kick party on him for a near fall. Andrade looks like he may have injured his shoulder. The Young Bucks hit dive onto Rush and Andrade. Then Kenny Omega goes for his dive only Lee to take his leg out. Lee goes for a suplex, but Kenny Omega lands on his feet and throws Lee to the floor. Kenny Omega goes for his dive again, but his knee gives out. He gets back up and attempts the dive again, but goes, but Joe trips him. LFL pull Kenny Omega to the floor and hang him up on the barricade. Lee hits an insane toe call Guerrero onto Omega, sending both of them crashing into the front row. Lee and Kenny Omega running Lee and Kenny Omega into the ring and get a near fall and tag Andrade. He goes to the top, but Nick catches him. Lee comes out of nowhere with a flying hurricanrana over the top. Andrade attempts the diving moonsault, but Kenny Omega moves, and Andrade lands on his feet and hits a standing moonsault for 2. Andrade hits the Sambora on Kenny Omega 1-2 no. Matt throws Rush into the pin. Lee tags in and walks right into a leaping V trigger. Kenny Omega hits the V trigger again. Kenny Omega hits the one-winged angel for the pin. The winner of the match, the Elite, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Now this match was pretty good. This was a pretty good six-man tag. Alright. After the match, Andrade drops Dragon Lee with a La Sambora and rips his mask off. So we go to sorry about that. He says not. It says Oh, here we go. And then AEW Dynamite. It says right here announcement now for some personal stuff as some may have been with the recent help wanted listen on the site. All Out will be the final time I cover AEW for WrestleView at least for now. I have to enjoy my time covering Dynamite, and even before that, the OG Wrestling Review readers out there probably remember me from my Impact recap, dating way back to 2008 until I recently left in the 2015. Life has gotten in the way a number of times in the past. In the last year and early this year, I accept a position at another newspaper, and the free time I had to shrunk more and more. I've been completely contemplating the decision to step away for several months and finally decided to pull the trigger. I still have a few weeks here at Rescue before I step away, but I just hope that the person that steps in will do an even better job than me, and it is a person passionate about wrestling, and as I am, the folks at Rescue have been exactly excited, excellent, especially Mike and Jerome, and had numerous conversations with some great folks that have enjoyed my recasts and some that hated them, and I appreciate you all. And AEW Dynamite goes off the air. Like I said it earlier, now AEW Dynamite was a good show. I really enjoyed watching AEW Dynamite reviewing reviewing highlights. I enjoy this review with you guys, man. I enjoy AEW Dynamite. It was a good show. But you guys see the thumbnails on my community tab. Go comment on my community tab on my thumbnail. But anyway, if you guys enjoy my AEW Dynamite review on highlights, please give this video a thumbs up. Comment down below on what are your thoughts on AEW Dynamite because it was a good show. Remember, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys push that red button and push that red button and hit that bell. Hit that red bell as hard as you can. When I premiere a brand new video, go live on YouTube. And follow my social media, my Twitter, my Instagram, my TikTok, and Twitch, and Discord down below in the description. Go check out my live stream that I did yesterday, and go check out my other live stream that I did on YouTube for 7 hours. But anyway, this your boy, bigboyfactsjonnytv. Have a great night. Stay safe and always stay positive. And I'm going to premiere my AEW Dynamite review and highlights at 3:00 a.m. Eastern time. But anyway, KFG Crew, KFG Kings, Too Sweet. I'm out of here. Gang.